Game of War took the world by storm in 2015 with a high-profile Super Bowl commercial featuring scantily clad supermodel Kate Upton, an advertising gimmick for which developer Machine Zone reportedly paid $40 million. Since then, the online strategy game has become one of the top-selling mobile apps in history. But what's really happening behind the scenes? Here's what you may not know about Game of War: Fire Age. Celebrity faces. After spending millions on Kate Upton's eye-catching commercial during Super Bowl 49, Machine Zone went for a change of pace and a change of face. The next superstar to appear in a Game of War commercial was none other than pop star Mariah Carey.
Time to be heroes, guys.
The dragon-slaying diva spent a total of 2 seconds on screen, but reportedly earned a 7-figure paycheck. To be fair, it was still more effort than she put into a New Year's performance. Zing.
Just don't get any better.
Of course, part of that cash was probably to license rights for her song Hero, which is played relentlessly during the ad. Was it as effective as the Kate Upton spot? It's hard to say, but 2015 was definitely a grand slam year for Game of War, according to the numbers. Cha-ching! It's not easy for a free game to bring in a cool million a day, but it helps if you build your entire business model around getting players to buy stuff inside the game. And if there's one thing Game of War is good at, it's making sure its players have a reason to drop loads of cash on their virtual kingdoms. Game of War is what's known as a freemium game. It's free to download and play, but if you really want to have a chance in the game, you need to pay for the premium content.
With mobile apps, we now have the ability to make games that are boring and stupid. But if you pay for incentives, you're rewarded.
Freemium. The mium is Latin for not really.
In fact, Game of War makes it a point to push premium deals at just about every loading screen. Obviously, not every player, or even most players, will spend money to get in-game advantages, but there are enough who are willing to do just that to make Game of War one of the top-grossing mobile apps of our time. It also helps that gamers are spending way more than the average on this app, 6 times as much in fact. According to the stats, whereas ordinary mobile gamers spend about $86.50 to play, Game of War fans are dropping an average of $550 a year, mostly to rack up on those gold packages that cost a whopping $99.99 a piece.
I gotta do it, man.
A heaping heist. Game of War is so addictive that one guy stole $1 million to pay for his playing habits. Actually, he stole $4.8 million, but he spent $1 million of his lifted loot on Game of War. Californian Kevin Coe reportedly spent 7 years, from 2008 to 2015, embezzling funds as an accountant for a company specializing in construction equipment. He used most of the money for big-ticket items like cars and sports seats, your standard embezzlement candy, but somewhere along the way, he decided that a free mobile game was worth $1 million of his hard-stolen money. There's no record of exactly what he bought in the game, but really, does it matter? That precious Gollum ring won't help him in prison. Critical cuts. For all the money Game of War is raking in for Machine Zone, it may be one of the most hated games of the past few years. Critics have pointed out its practically non-existent gameplay, the massive wait times to do anything useful, and the circular nature of the entire system. You basically build things so you can build more things in the future. But more than anything, most critics call out Game of War as nothing more than a shameless cash grab. Basically, if you aren't a big spender, you can spend months building your kingdom just to be slaughtered by a newcomer with deep pockets.
Build quickly, or be destroyed quickly.
But for all that hate from on high, Game of War must be doing something right. On top of raking in more cash than some countries' entire gross domestic products, Game of War also garnered a respectable rating on the Google Play Store from its million-plus reviewers. As much as critics seem to love hating it, you can't argue with the numbers. With over 50 million downloads at this point, Game of War is definitely popular. But how popular is it really? Well, it's still not top dog. In spite of the tens of millions of dollars Machine Zone has spent to reach the top, Game of War is still only ranked 4th in the top-grossing iPhone games, behind Candy Crush Saga, Pokemon Go, and Clash Royale. And that's pretty far behind too, if you go by the numbers. Although Game of War pulled in over $1 million a day in 2015, their daily revenue has dropped to $720,000, while Clash Royale is currently raking in over $2 million each day. Holy hell. Real-world impact. While Machine Zone started out as a game developer, the company's CEO, Gabriel Ladon, has always had bigger plans. He told Bloomberg that Machine Zone is more than just a few hundred guys building a popular mobile app, saying, "We're a technology company. We're not really a game company." He certainly seems to be on the right track. The company rebranded itself as simply MZ in April of 2016, and in May 2016 they signed a contract with the New Zealand government to use Game of War's technology to improve the country's public transportation, using the system the game incorporates to simultaneously keep track of millions of players. Ladon's real-world system will track and manage the network structure for an entire city.
Soon, the entire cities will be networked in one real-time environment, which will create a level of efficiency that the world hasn't seen yet.
Is that ambition savvy or just plain scary? You be the judge.
Krusty wants out!
Thanks for watching. Click the looper icon to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Plus, check out all this cool stuff we know you'll love too.